mad hoe. I looked
Police say investigators are still looking for the person who shot a woman described as in her mid-20s.
So that shooting happened about 3 o'clock this morning on Conley Downs Road off of River Road. 11 Live's Chase Howell spent the day in the neighborhood, talked to neighbors who described what they heard leading up to the gunshots.
Just said it was in the car.
In this home security video, you can see two people get out of a car and start walking down Conley Downs Drive just before 3 Friday morning. While you can't see much from this Ring doorbell, you can hear what sounds like female voices yelling at one another.
Maybe for 10 minutes somebody was arguing, and after that it was the 2 gunshots.
Fam, I'm even getting old. I'm all the way out the loop now. You see, yesterday reports circulated that a 19-year-old young woman got arrested for the demise of another young woman on Halloween morning. And you know, as a platform, a young woman throwing her life away for murder at 19, you want to look into it to bring it to you guys' attention. So I look into the comments, trying to catch up. But with all due respect, fam, it was nothing but 304s raising hell. Like they got a union meeting going on. At that point, I'm sitting there like, ain't no way in hell I'm looking at this. I'm scrolling through stories. I'm seeing girls openly brag about selling themselves. One girl saying, I'm done with the cheap shit. If he want this, he gotta drop at least 100. And fam, like I say, I must be getting old, cause I'm thinking 100. That's what y'all calling top 10 now? But that's the world we living in today. And to be real, it actually kept me on track for this story. Cause I quickly realized I didn't even need to look too deep to understand this story. As mentioned, you got a young girl who threw her life away at 19. And I wanted to dig deeper. Pause. I wanted to understand what makes a young girl crash out like that. Cause usually, that 304 lifestyle don't start on IG. It starts at home. Neglect, abuse, trauma, runaway situations, all that. So I took the natural next step. I looked into the mother. And let's just say what I discovered. Something happened to the mom just last month. Or even weeks before the whole situation took place. And when you see it, you might understand why this girl spiraled. We're not justifying anything, but it might explain the crash out. Some people grieve different. And when I show you the information I found today, you might even feel she wanted to end up in jail. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Fam, before we even get into the details of this case, I want to slow it down for a second and talk about something that keeps coming up in these conversations. 304s. Now, for anybody who might be out the loop, let me break this down in a clean way. YouTube friendly. No explicit language. 304s is basically an old school computer pager slang. Back in the day, if you typed 304 on a calculator and flipped it upside down, it spelled out a word people used to label women who sold themselves. Now fast forward to 2025, and social media done revived it. Not just as a word, but as a whole culture. The sad part, a lot of these young girls don't even know the history. They just see the trend, the lifestyle, the fast money, the attention, and they jump right in. And fam, if we're gonna be honest, Atlanta became one of the hubs for this 304 lifestyle. Not because every girl in the A is doing it. That's the misconception. But because Atlanta is a city where image, nightlife, clout, and fast money collide. You got bottle girls making thousands a weekend, dancers making tens of thousands on a holiday, IG influencers, and get money girls promoting the soft life. And it all blends together. So much that the 304 term became part of the slang. But here's the thing nobody says. It's not really glamorized. And it's not as common as social media makes it look. Because today's 304 culture ain't like it was years ago. These new practices, completely different. You got young girls who don't even step foot in the club. They running their whole operation off Instagram stories, close friends lists, OnlyFans, sneaky link apps, Snapchat premium accounts, location-based meetups, private Telegram groups, Cash App, Apple Pay, and you name it. It's a new digital world. It's a new market. And everybody trying to look like they winning. Some girls even using AI edit pictures. Some out front like they living a high life when they still living with their mom. Some doing it for survival. Some for clout. And some are just lost and chasing attention because they never had any real structure at home. And that's what made me look deeper into this case. Because once you understand the environment, the trauma, the money chase, the social media pressure, you start to understand why a 19-year-old could crash out in the way that she did. This ain't an excuse, it's context. Fam, what if I told you that the woman who brought you in this world would be the same woman that'll solicit your body for money and keep the proceeds? and manipulate your mind because you young. Some might try to mask that, but it'll be tough. Well, I want y'all to take a look at Virginia Ann Bates. She 37 years old from Forest Park. A couple weeks ago, she pled guilty to human trafficking and pimping charges in DeKalb County. As part of her plea, Bates admitted to knowingly harboring and providing a 16-year-old female relative and an 18-year-old female to sex buyers. Wasn't really publicly identified, but it was alleged that that was her children. One of them being the suspect in this story who caught a body at 19. It was mentioned that Bates also collected a portion of the financial proceeds from the commercial sex acts of both victims. Apparently, they recovered the 16-year-old female in March of 2023. Bates was sentenced to 40 years in prison, with the first 25 to be served in prison and the remainder on strict probation. She's also required to register as an S offender, 3 counts of mping and 4 counts of trafficking. The case first came to the attention of law enforcement in November of 2021 when a 16-year-old victim was living with Bates, who was a relative. Law enforcement was called to the residence due to the child experiencing a mental health crisis. When law enforcement and EMS made contact with the child, concerns developed that she may have been the victim of human trafficking. The child was taken to a treatment facility, but was subsequently ran away and was listed as an active missing juvenile. The mother, Virginia Bates, maintained contact with the 16-year-old while she was listed as missing. Bates ultimately rented a hotel room where the 16-year-old victim and the 18-year-old victim were expected to perform commercial sex acts. Bates further assisted in taking photos of the child and the 18-year-old, posted advertisement selling them online, and received the money from sexual favors. Bates then transported the 16-year-old victim to another location for additional sex acts. Chief investigators Kim Bell and the Attorney General's Human Trafficking Prosecutor Unit became involved in a case in March of 2023 and successfully located and recovered the child. Investigator Kimball then opened an investigation, and Bates was taken into custody on March 25, 2024. And as mentioned, in October, she received 40 years for her plea. And little did she know, a couple of weeks later, her daughter would murder another young woman on Halloween. On October 31st, 2025, officers were called to a scene in the 3700 block of Cloney Downs Drive at River Road. It was a little after 3 a.m. in reference to a person shot. Once they arrived, they found a woman in her Saunders with a gunshot wound. Police said home security video shows 2 people getting out of a car and walking down Cloney Downs Drive. In another Ring doorbell video, woman I heard yelling back and forth moments before the gunfire. Now it seemed the reason she was in her night clothes was because her and about 9 other females had a gathering, and a video from inside had managed to surface online. Check it out.
See this house in Texas? Let me show you how I invested into it with just a few $100s using this investment strategy that is actually backed.
Happy birthday, dear
Oh my God. And Becky. It's okay.
The victim was later identified as 26-year-old Kennedy Saunders, aka Cartier Cardi. Fam, please don't ask why we use this picture as the best picture to be appropriate for YouTube. We just mentioned at the very beginning what mainly this video is about, but we're going to identify her as a model / dancer because she was that as well, out of respect, and she just lost her life. May she rest in peace.
Police say investigators are still looking for the person who shot a woman described as in her mid-20s.
So that shooting happened about 3 o'clock this morning on Conley Downs Road off of River Road. 11 Live's Chase Howell spent the day in the neighborhood, talked to neighbors who described what they heard leading up to the gunshots.
You just said it was in the car.
In this home security video, you can see 2 people get out of a car and start walking down Conley Downs Drive just before 3 Friday morning. While you can't see much from this Ring doorbell, you can hear what sounds like female voices yelling at one another.
Maybe for 10 minutes, somebody was arguing, and after that, it was 2 gunshots.
Marta has been living on Conley Downs Drive since 2016. She says the woman who was shot was left to die in the middle of the street across from this Airbnb.
It's sad, you know. People drink, people argue, and there's a lot of gun violence. And that's the issues that we have.
One woman who didn't want to go on camera says there was a Halloween party at the Airbnb Thursday night. And just like Marta, she too heard arguing, followed by 2 gunshots.
It was 2 females that ended up arguing, you know, they were cussing.
I caught up with Brandon Garcia while he was walking his dog. He says this happening in his neighborhood isn't only disturbing as a resident, but as a veteran.
Serving overseas and coming home safely, and then things like this happen so close to home, you know, is one of my biggest fears.
I was able to get a hold of the homeowner. He says only 2 people were supposed to be staying at his property. And when I asked him who they were, he wasn't sure. So when one of his friends came to check out the damage, I asked him about the shooting, even though he wouldn't open the door. Could we ask you just a quick question about what happened last night?
I don't even know, man.
Did you happen to know the girl that was shot and killed?
Not at all.
Not at all? Do you own this home? Or are you just renting it out with Airbnb? As of Friday afternoon, DeKalb County Police tell me there is no additional information to release. Indicator Chase Howell, 11 Alive News.
Thank you so much, Chase. Airbnb says its anti-party system is activated. It's supposed to catch these types of bookings. The technology evaluates the potential party risk by reviewing the length of the reservation, the distance from the guest location, and the timing of the booking.
A week before Thanksgiving, 7 weeks later, DeKalb County Police were finally making an arrest. This time, it wasn't Virginia Bates. It was her daughter, 19-year-old Janiyah Bates, a.k.a. Foreign.
Like me too, she a mad hoe. I looked her up, she ugly too. I like pretty bitches.
She was booked in the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office at 12:03 a.m. on the 18th with charges of murder malice. Now, fam, before I let y'all hear the news clip with the new evidence, as mentioned at the very beginning, I was in the comments, and one person was taking up for her. Fam, you can't believe how she was taking up for her. Listen to what she had to say.
Y'all ain't spreading no tea. Keep talking about something she was shaking ass. They ain't gonna talk about something that girl ain't had AIDS. Y'all worked at the club together. They make y'all take tests. They didn't even check y'all IDs. You want me to believe that they made y'all take tests? And a lot of you was sucking and shaking ass with her.
eating her pussy.
Y'all ain't make as much as she did before she got up out the gang. So now y'all want to gang up. And don't forget to mention she turned herself in with her lawyer. With the money that she was sucking, shaking ass for, honey. You got to make a purpose out of it. That's the thing. Y'all was sucking and shaking ass and ain't make nothing out of it. She came up out of it on top. And I'm still going to stick beside her.
Who gon' shake some? Who gon' shake some? Who gon' take some? Who gon' take some? Man, up late and face some.
I guess that's sticking beside her, and I guess she came up, but let's straighten the one fact that need to be straightened out. She didn't turn herself in. She was apprehended after capture. Check out the news clip.
Was left for dead by people she trusted after she was shot. Now they're fighting for justice from Texas. John 2's Candace McCowan is live outside the DeKalb County Jail, where a 19-year-old woman is now charged with malice murder. Candace.
Gaza's population is on the brink of famine.
Yeah, and Karen, this shooting, it happened on Halloween. 26-year-old Kennedy Sanders was killed. Today, her family sent me these photos of her and said that when they heard what happened, they knew they would have to fight for justice, even though they're 800 miles away.
She got out of Dallas and moved to Atlanta, and she started working in a club.
The family of 26-year-old Kennedy Sanders said she came to Metro Atlanta for a fresh start, but it's the place where she took her final breath.
It was a party, and she got into it with the girl, and from what I'm hearing, the girl came back to shoot her.
This was a scene early Halloween morning. Neighbors told Channel 2 they heard arguing and then 15 minutes later, gunshots. DeKalb County Police found Kennedy shot and killed on Conley Downs Drive.
And then they left her in the street.
Tuesday, investigators said they arrested 19-year-old Janiyah Bates and charged her with malice murder. Kennedy's aunt, Cynthia Martinez, said she's been fighting for this arrest since she heard what happened to her niece.
It was a little birthday party they had for a friend of theirs. On an Airbnb. It was only like 10 of them. Nobody's really speaking up. Like the girls that were all there, nobody's really coming up saying anything.
Bates is in jail without a bond. As for Kennedy's family, they are heartbroken and tell me they won't rest until they get justice.
But I know that she's trying to use self-defense as to why she did what she did. But that's not the way it went at all.
Yeah, and Kennedy's aunt tells me she's been on the phone constantly with investigators all the way from Texas and saying that she's going to follow this all the way until they get complete justice. For now, live here outside the DeKalb County Jail, I'm Candace McCowan for Channel 2 Action News.
Rest in peace once again to Cardi. Fam, when you really sit back and look at this story, it make you realize how fast, man, life can flip when somebody dealing with pain they never healed from. You got a young girl barely grown, diving into a lifestyle that social media glorify. And you got a mother fighting for her own battles just weeks before it all went down. When you connecting the two, you realize the mother played a huge part on how her daughter living.
No, that's facts. And that's kind of like really sad that people got to see this and your friends and family got to go through this with you because they are family and it's not good. That's why everybody just needs to stay out the streets. Just don't follow nobody, be your own leader. Only do that that's good. Because if not, you'll be just like her. Hope you like the vid. See you on the next one.